Hey dreamers, if your attention span is currently that of a squirrel or losing a fistfight to one, I have good news for you. Through a lovely link you should be able to find somewhere on your platform, it will bring you to this page. This page will bring you to the Help Aimless Stay Aimless Fund, where you can make some kind, lovely donations that is always appreciated. You can also find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X, all under Aimless96024. That is Aimless96024, 42069 backwards. And you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts through Aimless Dreamers Having Discussions. Lastly, you can also find us through Whatnot at Aimless Locker. This has been your friendly pre-roll reminder. Remember to aim, dream, hope, drive, and let's get to the episode. It's these intros and outros that get me every single time. Hey everyone, this is Aimless Dreamers Having Discussions 5, Aimless Discussions 1, and today we are going to talk about a bunch of things that I didn't want to talk about. I did make and record an episode, an original episode months ago, and I've decided not to go about that type of episode in that way anymore. I had an activity to do while I was talking about everything, and it was really difficult to stay focused on both things at once. So all of a sudden, it was just the quality on both things were lackluster, to say the least. And I didn't know if I was going to end up doing something like that at some point, but a few weeks ago or a month ago, I decided I would have this as the 5th episode at the end of the month and the last episode leading into the new year. So for you all, this will be coming out December 30th, and that'll be on my dad's birthday. So part of this episode is a birthday gift to him as well. I have a I have a message for a bunch of people to go through at the end. I was going to do it first, but I'm not sure how that will affect me. So I'm going to do the bit about me first and explaining all this and where it all came from. Just highlights that I feel might be important for you to know about who I am and what this is and why. I don't know. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. And this will just be here for those that care. This is going to take me much longer to make than it will be for you to watch it. And it shouldn't take too long, but knowing me, it's going to take a while. Yeah, that's what this episode's going to be about. I'm not re-recording this intro. We're done. This is what you're getting for an intro. I'm sorry. We'll get better with these intros and outros as time goes on, but I'm not used to it yet. Just every YouTube video you watch, everyone seems to kind of got it nailed down, and I do not. I'm just going to sit here and ramble for an intro and then never get to the content. So enjoy that, because that'll be something that's consistent. That'll be the one consistent thing throughout these episodes is my rambling and lack of structure. But that probably makes sense with what's behind me. Let's get to it. I'm not going to talk anymore so that we can start talking about everything else. I don't like intros. They suck. Just because they're supposed to be structured, and I just don't know. I don't know. Enjoy, hopefully. And yeah, I'll see you in the main section, or aimless discussions coming up now. I'll stop talking. There's no way to make this an easy episode to record. I'm trying so hard to wrap my brain around it. I've done it before. This exact episode, I had the original and I've done it. I did it. I maybe did it with a lot less stress for that first one. I don't know why I did something like this for the first podcast that I had, and it's the most difficult this time. Um, so we're gonna do our best. I hope that this goes kind of smooth, if possible, and we're just gonna get to it. For the beginning part of talking about me, which I'm not a big fan of doing. I don't mind doing it, but it doesn't feel fun to me. This is information that I already know and you don't. So unfortunately, part of me feels like I have to do it to feel closer to all of you and to allow you to feel closer to me. That's the idea of it. I don't even know if I put that in the intro. I tried doing that intro again after I said I wouldn't, but I we're leaving it at that. We're going to start and talk a little bit about when I was younger. Just everyone was young and we all had our stuff, and usually is where you would guess that development started as a person. The problem with mine is I think there was a huge lack of development. I was very quiet, I was very shy, and I didn't say all too much. I didn't do so well with change in situations or experiencing things that I'm not used to. I, Birthday parties, movies, I'm pretty sure even suppers and going out to eat was not something me or anyone around me looked forward to seeing how that would go. Um, I don't know. Well, I kind of know why now after a lot of uh, a lot of evaluations. I don't know. I Mainly for me, I just kind of wanted to know how my brain worked and why it worked that way. Has that given me any real skills on figuring out how to handle most of it, or how to cope per se, or kinda? I have a lot of research to do, and um, it's been a long time figuring a lot of it out. But that's just how it goes, isn't it? I had a lot of hobbies going through all of my schooling. I think, well, I've mentioned that the earliest one was these Hot Wheels, Lego. Eventually, an obsession with video games, but that feels like anybody. I just feel like I was on a hyper obsession scale about it. Uh, Obsession scale. I don't know. I'm really tired. And I just, we need to get through this somehow. My brain is malfunctioning a little bit. A lot of hobbies: Rubik's Cube, Lego, Hot Wheels, a lot of sports: baseball, soccer, basketball, badminton. Uh, what else? Lego, Hot Wheels, Pokemon cards, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, uh, comic books. What, I feel like I'm missing a bunch. Yo-yo at one point, scooter, skateboard, longboard. Uh, and now some I did get better at than others. If you tell me to do a kick, I never did a kickflip once on a skateboard. I just liked using it and using it for transportation, and was happy that I knew how to not fall off of it. It's probably why I got a longboard eventually. Um, God, there's more hobby things that I'm missing. RC cars were in there, uh, but the big ones, the ones that go in faster than the little ones that you get. No, the ones that you can technically take apart and put back together and upgrade a bunch, just like a normal car. Um, I very much, I've always enjoyed what other people are interested in. So if, no matter what it was, some of these I discovered on my own: Hot Wheels, Lego. Uh, but then there are other: Rubik's Cube, yo-yo, scooter, skateboard. No, skateboard, longboard. That I don't remember. But some of the other ones was just other people were interested in it, and I don't. I didn't do well communicating with people around me at all. Really, it was really bad when I was younger. But that's how I found that was the easiest way to communicate. If I learn a bunch about what you like and you're interested in, then maybe we'll be able to figure out a conversation in that topic idea. That's probably enough information about hobbies. COVID, well, high school COVID, um, that was fun. Uh, it's it's a weird thing to go through high school with COVID, big time, and it gave me way too much free time, I'm sure, along a lot of other people to so I'm bored. I don't know what to do. School's not a thing. Don't have to think about that or worry about it. It's it's a mute point. There's no school. Is did everyone choose to use their time very differently? Yes. I'm sure. I'm sure there are a lot of people that I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have some things in common of what they decided to do with that free time. I'm sure mine is of a smaller category where I was obsessed with stocks and podcast was a thing I got into. Just podcasting was really big at the beginning of COVID. It was a new thing, or at least it felt like a new thing, and Spotify was getting really big. So I was doing a bunch of research on that. There was a personal interest course that our school offered. I took it after COVID, um, during, but when school kicked back up again, and got to use all the free time about studying about podcasts and eh, really diving down that rabbit hole on what I would need, what I'd even want to do. Uh, Me and my friend, I've mentioned him before. We'll talk about that later. I have a message for him as well. Uh, Always we're sitting and just talking about one topic for a very long, extended period of time. Always. And between me and him, it was the idea that, hey, we should record this and do something with it. Just we are enjoying the content that we're doing then, and it's all over the place, and but it's fun, and we're having fun doing it. Wouldn't someone else find it entertaining to join in on that conversation with us? I don't know. So I did all the research I could to see what I would need and what would be required to do a podcast, and it became the new obsession. It became the new fancy, but no one else was doing it around me, just me. But other people were doing it online. So it was the first time that I it wasn't because of what was immediately around me. It was based on what I was witnessing happening online. And I loved the idea about it. I love I got so much joy talking about these topics with. I decided that, sorry, Eric, but you're getting your name. I can't take calling you Turtle seriously, and it's fine. I I envied that idea that, hey, people are figuring out how to make a career based on talking with each other and talking about things they enjoy. And well, do I have a long list of things that I enjoy? So shouldn't I do something like that? Shouldn't I just even for myself, really, right? And I don't know, it gave me a lot of time to do that. I always did. Luckily, I found school came naturally for the most part. Um, I took French immersion in middle school, so going into grade 9, grade 10 was much easier on most of the topics. Just I had been doing it in French and I was so happy to be to have the information coming at me in English again. Did I take that for granted a bit? Probably. Did that probably hurt me a bit going into grade 11, grade 12? Well, I did just fine, but it gave me a lot of extra free time mentally to be thinking about anything else in school because school just went and I didn't have much problem with it. Which does bring me into gap year. Um, while there was that, I started working a job during COVID, and even when it was online days, I was probably at work and just doing school from online because I was two things at once. Even though you're not supposed to do that, but if I could, then I was going to, and I got a lot of extra spending money that probably most kids at that age shouldn't be able to achieve because school. And I did felt like free money because I have no expenses and I'm young, and I don't know. And everybody was doing that and spending money on stupid things just to keep their dopamine and sanity during COVID and stuff. So uh, it was it was fine. It's just it was a weird time, and I know that there's going to be studies on COVID when the time comes about different people and where they were in their life and what happened during COVID and what would be the effects of that. There's 4 years ish worth of people who went through high school during COVID, which would be a very different experience if you were in like finishing elementary, going into middle school, and having and experiencing COVID during that era, right? No matter what era of your life you are in, COVID is going to have a very different impact. At least that would make sense. I would believe you someone in their 40s isn't going to experience COVID the same way someone that's 5 is going to experience COVID. There might be similarities between like, all of schooling, so kindergarten up through grade 12. That might be true, but still, you're a very different age from 5 to 16, right? I don't know. I'll be very intrigued to see those reports come out someday because maybe that'll make us all feel a little bit better. And yeah, that puts me right into the gap year, which I was working. I was able to pick up a second job in grade 12, and that went through into my gap year. And then I got an offer for another job that was 1 day a week. So all of a sudden, technically, I was working 3 jobs, and I figured out I was doing Whatnot at the time and doing live streams and trying to sell a bunch of the stuff that I bought during COVID. That was fun. I was having a lot of fun. I was not sleeping, or I was so obsessed on so many new things that were kind of providing energy and filling me up, even though I a lot happened that year too that leads into the next part. But I was doing way too much. I know that now. At the time, I wouldn't have wanted to admit it at all. I would have been digging my heels quite a bit. I'm sure it came up in conversation frequently that I needed to monitor my my life balance a bit better. And I didn't see really why that would be a problem. But everything and every decision, if it's a bad one, it's going to have some sort of domino effect at some point. And it did. And I, it was bound to happen at some point. Uh, I don't know if COVID would have played a part. It probably just made it a lot worse and a collapse happening at some point earlier than maybe it would have otherwise. Uh, what I, well, like I had a high school relationship that ended in during the gap year, and then I had a good friend from that job that I started at the end of high school, and that didn't work out. And then me and my family went on a trip. We came back, and this is but within the 2 month span, and we came while we were gone. Our our family childhood uh, dog passed away, and rest in peace, Oreo. And I, it was so much so fast that I think my emotional response to it was delayed, and I definitely didn't treat that summer all too well going into school. And I went into school, was still working the jobs, still doing the whatnot stuff on the side. I was doing everything in my power to have something to think about that wasn't leaving me alone with my thoughts or dealing with the stuff that did occur. And I felt I was fine. I thought I was fine. I eventually was not fine. So come that I got through the first semester of school just fine. But when I uh, a month before, so it's been at the end of November going into that first semester, I got notified that that new job that I had since the end of or since the beginning ish of grade 12 that was closing, and I'd made really good friends with a lot of the people there. It was I didn't realize until I lost it how much that job meant to me and how much that was holding me all together and keeping my sanity, I guess, because it would have been in January, that following January, when that store officially closed. uh, how much, well, I wasn't able to get out of bed basically for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I hadn't given myself any breaks. There was no relaxing time, and all of a sudden, it felt just my body was forced my hand on a full stop, complete break that I I hope no one ever has to experience. I hope that I don't have to experience that again. But I wouldn't wish that on. It's sh- it's just gloom. It's gloomy. It's hard to express or explain what. And of course, my camera just decided to stop working. So uh, there's a huge chunk I think I just rewatched it, and we were at the dock and Twisted, the gloomy, yes, during college, and everything collapsed. Yay. Happens to everybody at some point where you go through a lot too fast, and that's just how that went. I'm sorry. This is very painful that I have to do this again. It was so good. It was so good, but no, it had to just the camera just decided to quit on me, and um, I will have I'm gonna have some beef with that camera after this. No, we ended on yes, college went not so great the first time, and during that time afterwards, I to give myself a safe place and a place that was quiet and undisturbed. um, I started working on this room, and that's exactly what it was uh, a quiet, safe place with all my things, all my toys, and hopefully find find the ability to refocus on things that I'm working on. And that's what this is. Everything that I've ever been interested in, all on one screen. If I said that already, I'm so sorry. And this took a while. This took a long while to make. The soundproofing, that display, the organizing of it. I'm sure I made it a much bigger task than it needed to be. That said, it it's it it is what it is because of it. So it's hard to say no regrets. I wish I did it in a better, timely manner, but everyone takes their own amount of time to work on the things they care about, and just that anything you go to do is going to take time, and you have to do your best to not worry about the time associated with it. I love this room, and this is everything that I care about, and I want you to experience what I care about with me. I feel that makes sense. I spent alongside doing that time with the podcast and uh, rediscovering my joy in life. I went and started tackling some more deeper issues that obviously I'm not aware about and need to know more about. Got some evaluation stuff, started seeing somebody and getting some help mentally for my sanity. And I did that if I finally started seeing him a few months before I decided to jump the gun again on school. And how do you think that went? Yes, I failed the same program during the same semester twice. We all have our story, and so far that is mine. That one was my fault. The first one, it could have been prolonged, but I'm sure it would have happened at some point. It is my fault, except that I I was already invested in school. The second time, I had the option to wait a bit longer, and I should have. I went in too quick. I hadn't spent enough time at that point working on myself. Um, I had a lot of motivation going into it. I was very, very uh, explosive initially for it, right? In that sense, I wanted to do it. I wanted to finally. I did the work. I did some work. Have more things established for myself and understand myself a bit better. That's not true, actually. I was going through the first evaluation that actually second one. The first one does not count at all, but the second one was starting at the same time I was trying school again. Bad idea. That first one didn't even fully. It gave me some ideas and some new feedback, but it still left a lot of questions unanswered. So I started seeing another program that helped me actually get the proper evaluation, and I was very lucky for that. I am very lucky for that. Uh, and then that was more recent. That was within the last year. So I understand a lot more about myself. I feel like it's very important for anyone to have a deep core understanding of who you are as a person. I'm still learning. I don't know myself fully. If I would, I wouldn't have such a hard time still sitting down to do these episodes of the things that I enjoy and I love very much. Is still difficult and still working on figuring that one out. I find just doing it more is helping. I wish I started sooner, but everyone takes their time. And yeah, that's the new it's just this is all new for me and I'm still, as much as I've done a lot of rebuilding and I hope growing. I don't know if I mentioned that. I probably did at the second half. If I already mentioned it, I'm sorry. It's like that, where if you do a lot of growing, you might not notice it just because it's like cats and dogs. You see the kitten, and then you see the full grown cat. But if it's your own cat and you're there every single day, you're not really realizing the growth that's happening. And it's the same thing. Um, you do have to be consciously working on it for there to be growth. Don't get me wrong, you're not growing if you're not trying to grow. But if you are trying to grow, you might be the one that sees the least amount of improvement because you're doing it every single day. You know what I mean? maybe, maybe this is wrong and doesn't make sense at all. But that's how I view it. And, you can't quit. You can't, you shouldn't quit growing. You're growing anyway. Knowledge and learning is something we're all doing. You're never going to know enough or learn enough. There's always going to be new information, even from a scientific standpoint. Basically everything you know that is to be true will probably be proven wrong at some point, or tweaked, or redefined, or retuned. It's just how it's been. So you can't can't function that way. It's just growing, learning, trying, failing, making mistakes. We all fall. We all have to get back up. Just you hope you get back up learning from the fall. Some people just get back up and ignore the fall. I think we all do that as well, though. So yeah, I think that's enough about me. I think we've got most of the bases covered. I don't think I'm going to get any better than this for this section. And we will move to the thank yous, and the honorable mentions for the podcast that I want to make sure that they get a piece in here recognized of how important they are either to me or to this room and therefore to you guys. So let's get to that part. That's going to be so much fun. All right, we're going to get through this first one. First off, I want to send a message to the extended family whom lives very, well, not very far away, but a good distance away. I don't have the luxury, I'm sure, like a lot of people, I would assume, where your family's quite close, or like within an hour. It's like 4 or 5 hours away. It makes it more difficult to see you guys, and I'm not great communicating and FaceTiming and reaching out, and that mainly is just every time I do that, I'm sad that there is a distance in between us, and sometimes being reminded about that can be painful, and I haven't been great at it. We're gonna get better at it, I promise, and I will be down soon. Hopefully, I have no date for it, but sooner than later, I'm going to be coming down, and it's overdue. I miss you all. I know you guys care and you're concerned. I definitely hear that through the grapevine. I know my path has been different, and not everyone's. Stereotypically, it's not how it should go. It's not, and I'm working on it. We're getting there, and Regan, Felix, I miss you guys a lot. I know you guys miss me, and I, you know, hurt. Yeah, I don't like that distance thing, and yeah, love all you guys. I know you're rooting for me over yonder where you guys are all at, and yeah, see you guys soon. Now we're going to talk about coworkers. This is gonna be lumped into one. Past coworkers from the high school job. I miss you all. There's no way for me to express, even though I have told you that how important that job was, but not really the job. It was the group of people I was working with. I didn't think it was a toy store that I was working at, ironically, and it was something I always had the idea of doing for a part-time job at some point. Hey, it'd be cool to work with Lego somehow. And it was basically the closest thing that I would be able to, the closest I could get to Lego where I live. And it just, the group of people as well was like the cherry on top, or it was the foundation. I don't know. Every job has the risk of working with bad people or people you just don't like and don't get along with. It feels very rare what that work environment was like, and I'm very grateful I got to have it. You helped me keep the kid in me, and and keep the fire of the the things that I enjoy, and toys per se. It's childish. I don't know. This wouldn't be here if I didn't have that job. So I thank you for being, the family away from home, and help work not feel like work. I, I, that job will always hold a special place in my heart. It means a lot to me. learned a lot of random skills doing it too. I can rap pretty well, you know. It was a cool job. I'm beyond grateful. Miss you guys, and hopefully this, I've created my little mini toy store behind me type idea. Oh, and to my manager, for the visual merchandising thing, that is a useful but also disastrous skill. So thank you, but also uh, you have caused some of my. No, I'm kidding. You haven't caused some of my problems. I just spend so long on the details. I do it for you. But yeah, um, that's my thanks per se to you guys. And oh, new coworkers. Yes. Um, I do envy. It's a very different job from the toy store, and it's helping me, rediscover some different thing or fuel the fire in a different way. And basically, I'm delivering kegs and cleaning draft beer. There's a switch up in it. Um, and it's not everything required for the job is not something that I'm used to. I feel it's plays a big part in the growth aspect of things. So I envy you all because you're all very very skillful, very uh, you're a great crowd to work with, and you are the first group of people that I've felt like I can kind of put the past, feeling like I've with the first job. There was a lot of envy and attachment to that first job that this this is helping me rediscover new passion, new enjoyment for work in a very different way. And um, I'm not sure whether I'm sure I have not expressed it deeply or as deeply as I could, but it means a lot to me, this job. And I feel it's done a lot of good for me. I feel it's something I very much need to experience at some point. But sure, not many people experience it, but I'm grateful for it, and grateful, because of my track record. And there's not anything like it on my resume that is as many skills as it. There's some, but it's very different, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm still just learning and growing. And um, what does that say? Oh, yeah, it does a very good job pulling me out of my comfort zone on a lot of things. It's very good exercise. It's very different. There's a lot of traveling involved. That's a pretty cool thing to experience. Um, I may be, I may grow not to enjoy traveling to those places at some point, but that's probably not a bad thing. I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of just new experience. I really think pulling me out of my comfort zone was important, and this is the best way to do it. That is for sure. Um, so yeah, thank you guys. I'm still being pulled out of my comfort zone and my shell per se. You guys are I envy your ability to be out of your shell, and you just are who you are, and you're all great. Um, I'm I'm it's just been very special, right? The first one was special, this one's special in a different way, and getting used to it in that way. Anyway, that is to my past and present coworkers. You are all very important to me, and yeah. Get to the next one. All right. Next up, we're going to try and shorten these a little bit if possible. Just realized the last section was 6 months. I think it's appropriate, so it's fine. Just like try. I'm going to try and get these videos shorter. No, I'm not. This one to my editor, or Aimlessette, as we shall refer you to. Um, you do mean more than I I think I said that at the beginning, but more than I can put into words properly ever. I know I try, but you do mean more to me that I can express. But I will try here to express it. You are. This is when I'm going to start needing my notes. You are always there to support me, no matter on what crazy thing is that I'm wanting to do. And you provide a huge sum of motivation, and you help me stay enthusiastic through the process. And it is a process, and I I feel that everyone needs a good support system, and you've been a huge piece of that. Um, it's newfound for me because usually I'm used to only being my. That's not true fully, but when I'm on my own in my own time, I'm used to being the only person fueling that ambition per se. Uh, so I couldn't. What does that say? I couldn't ask for a better partner in crime, and this podcast wouldn't be the same without you. If there would be a podcast, you have a huge piece in this coming to fruition. It's a big word, feels big, but it's the only one I can think of. Um, you know, you've helped me also find my enjoyment for life again, but not in that way. That sounds off. From what happened through college, it's been bleak. I feel you brought the color back in a sense. Anyway, that's that's the bigger sum of what I have to say to Aimlessette, and yeah, you mean a lot to me too. That brings us to our next one. That was much smoother than the others. We'll see if that continues. Well, that brings us to the therapist that I got to see and got to start seeing, um, as mentioned. And uh, I owe you a lot of thanks. And I know it's been a rough road, and I'm sure I've given you a run for your money and your job, and it has not been smooth. It hasn't. There's been a lot. You've been there through a lot now at this point. You know a lot about me, and I can't. I'm overly grateful that I've had your help, and that it's a piece that I needed. It was a piece that I lost after my therapist from when I was younger, and I had her for a long time. Same thing with work. There was I didn't think that I would find a person that I would felt that comfortable with again. And there's I'm still probably not fully again like that with work, and the new coworkers fully out of my shell. Um, I lose track of my own thoughts half the time. I'm sure that's very evident in this. But you're always there. You've been there, and I've I feel another piece that needs to be dedicated to, that has helped me grow, is definitely 100% you. So thank you. And I know I've I know I've come a long way, and you've mentioned it, and I know I struggle to see that. Um, but I owe you. What does that say? I owe. I owe it to you. Oh my God. I owe you a huge piece of the progress that I've made. Again, that's probably why everyone in here that I'm about to talk about, I owe you a piece of that to some extent. And I really owe a big one to you. I'm not going to say names. I'm saying names for a couple But um, you've helped me I felt like there was a tunnel, there was no light. So you know, if Aimless at brought back the color, you helped me see the light at the first step. And the light seems more evident now. Anyway, thank you. Thank you. And I'm sure I'll see you soon. I know you've been waiting for me to make these videos. It's been a long time coming. All right. That's good on that one. Let's get to the next one. Well, I did mention the sister. Yes, to the COVID stuff. Maybe I didn't. But I know we have our differences. I'm sure most siblings do. I'm very grateful for how close we've been able to grow up together. I think COVID played a big part in that, and we're very strong siblings per se. From what it looks like compared to most siblings. Most siblings don't get along. It looks like, and we do. Again, we have our differences. We've had our arguments and our debacles, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure bigger than that, but uh, I'm still, obviously, I'm grateful to have you as a sister, and that we are as close as we are. I'm sure you feel we were closer once upon a time, and I know that I seem distant or busy. It's hard. I got to be busy to keep my sanity, and I know you're busy too. So I know we might be more upset that life is just kind of in the way sometimes, and we don't get to spend as much time together as we used to. But I don't think that should impact how close we've been able to grow. Uh, it just is what we're adults now. Yeah. So, um, what else did I have in here? I don't. Yes, I don't want you to think that there's anything to do with you in the distance or me and you. That's not the case. It's completely that I rediscovered my energy and ambition, and it takes a lot of time away from my free time. And even if I didn't do this podcast, it's not like I would have that much free time anyway. It's just there's a lot of time going into growing and putting work in and rebuilding that I hope coming soon I'll have more free time to spare. That's kind of been the plan, right? Um and I know I used to be more fun. I'm sure everyone says that at some point. Uh it's not it didn't end so well being fun. So, but I'm still the same person. I'm just trying to grow as one as well. And I feel like the distance thing would be a bigger issue at play. Uh, but yeah, I love you. You're very important to me too. And, um, we'll figure out this adult stuff as we go, I'm sure. Right? But yeah, you mean loads more than I'm probably, said. But it's kind of an unsaid truth thing too. I'm sure that's the case with most of my family members, at least my immediate ones. We kind of know that we all care for each other, but we don't say it as much as we probably should. That'll end up getting repeated, I'm sure. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, now we're getting to the the meteor people that has more content. This would be to Mom. um, as I I don't want to let myself go off script too much, just because I know I'll go off into the void with rambling. Um, so I'll just start. Uh, you were always there when I needed the help when I was younger. Um, you were a huge support. Probably my only one when I was that young, and I definitely wasn't the stereotypical easy child. I'm sure you've said that before, that there's a bunch of things you prepare for. And a good example is I didn't say why or ask why. My big question was, what's that? To everything. What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Everyone prepares for the question why. No one prepares for what's that. Um, I I know I definitely was. Yeah, I just said that. You've never given up on me through it all. Um, you're always pushing my boundaries and my limit, and been that was very, very important early on, and pushing me out of the comfort zone, pushing me out of the comfort zone, pushing me out of the comfort zone. I know that probably is still a worry here and there about my comfort zone, and what I should be pushing that on versus I am slower on that, and getting out of my comfort zone on certain things. Um, it's always been the case. I started wearing jeans like 3 years ago because I didn't like jeans. I had a bad experience in elementary. Nope, not doing it ever again. Eventually, you push yourself out of the comfort zone naturally, and that's what happened. I know you care deeply about me. I'm very lucky to have you as a mother. That's always been the case. Um, Again, probably don't say it enough. You've helped me navigate school, myself, and friends. You've always been my biggest advocator, even when you don't really fully understand why I made a decision, or had something happen and why it happened. And there's a lot of those. And I can't thank you enough for all your support along the way. I'm sure not everyone is so lucky to have a strong parental system, and I definitely take that for granted sometimes, if not more than sometimes in the past, and I am sorry for that too. And I'm even sorry to people who aren't, just for taking. It's hard when you have something that is good. It's very easy to take it for granted. Very. And think about any good thing you've ever had. Probably at some point you took for granted, and everyone's different on what that thing is. Um, Perspective, and really at the end of the day, so I might have been my therapist that told me that. Yeah, at the end of the day, you wouldn't, if you were given the option to have new parents, you'd probably still pick the ones that you have. Obviously, even if you give them a hard time, even if your situation really is bad, um, just because they're your parents, you do love them at the end of the day, no matter what. And sometimes that's hard, and that's hard for everybody. But I have pretty cool parents. Um, are but yeah. Uh, Thank you, Mom. Love you, and get on to the next one. Oh, the second last one is a big one. Eric, buddy, this one's for you. Uh, I think I start with, when this comes out, it'll be just after a year. Right now, right before a year. It'll be right after a year since you moved away. And of all the things that has happened in my life and that I just talked about, that's that's been the hardest one. Um, you have been my one really, really close and good friend consistently throughout my life. For the most part, since grade 1 too. I know that's a debate on which year it's been, but it's been a long time regardless. And we've had our ups and downs. We've elementary, middle, high school, after high school, college, friends, we were the core friends. And I think I used, a little bit of, that we'd get distracted no matter what. If we're in a room and it's boring, we're going to find something to make it not boring and entertaining. And therefore, we're distracted by everything when we're in the same room. I think you are more naturally than I am. Maybe not. And think I just thought it was going to be, it's going to make some other things a bit easier. I'm going to focus on this and this and this. Nope. Nope. I get distracted very easily on my own too. And that would make me miss you more, because miss you even more, because then, well, now I'm just getting distracted for no reason. If you were here, that, well, we could do it together if it's going to happen anyway. So if it was a year, it'd be like March this year that it really hit me, and that might have played a piece into losing school again. Um, it obviously, right, and probably played a bigger part in why I'm regretful about the second one, because I knew you were leaving, and I did not think that I thought it would make it easier. No, it didn't. Um, it didn't at all. It made it much more difficult, and obviously I wish it didn't play out that way, and I wish you were much closer in distance. And same thing with my extended family. It's hard, and it hurts to be reminded about that distance, and that you can't walk down barefooted in the middle of the night, be like, hey, bored, I'm bored, you want to do something, type thing. It's I would have been shaking my fist at it at the time, I'm sure, but I miss it. And you mean a lot to me. You're the one friend, the only one. You're a big piece of why I started doing this. You're a big piece of why I have a lot of the interests that I have. You were always, you didn't, you never judged me. You never had, um, you never. It was just. There's so many memories that I can't even pick one. You pick one. I'm sure. There's so many. Um, you mean a lot, and it kills me that you're not closer. And I can't I can't even drive down your street. Um, just that was a second home, and I might maybe even drive around the city, and I do it for you. I Sometimes that hurts though too. Just reliving memories, trying to the good ones, avoiding the ones that just are blatantly like, there's somebody living in your house. They shouldn't be there. So I can't. I've tried. But I think I've been down that street once since you've left. There's so many memories, and even calling you and messaging you and stuff. It still is something I struggle with. Um, Not that I'm actually having any memories before doing it. It's that I'm worried about what memories might be triggered when I do it, and that it's gonna hurt me that much. Um, I, yeah, they're the main reason I was obsessed with this. It started from us just talking about what we enjoyed. I know I've said that, but I need to say it again because it's important. And maybe that's why I avoid this in part two sometimes and struggle with it, because it should have been both of us doing it. It it just didn't play out that way. And maybe we will. We'll get you on at some point. Get you some vipers in a hat. That'll be fun for me. uh no, you I wouldn't ask for any other best friend growing up ever. I'm sure the people around me still will mention how often I mention Eric, and I don't know if I mentioned that, but I can't use Turtle anymore. I can't. It's not fair. I'm using your name. It's no last name. It should be fine. You mean so much. I miss you, and I wish again you were a couple streets up. And you better get your butt down here soon. I know flights are expensive. It is a big distance, and that's not so easy. And we don't have grown up jobs, so it's difficult. And it's yeah. Thank you for being my friend. And yeah, we'll move on to the last one, but the one that's probably most difficult. All right, that was second most. That wasn't too bad. It's not too bad. We're getting somewhere. All right, next. All right, and last but not least, because if I didn't mention, I will mention again, just in case. This is coming out on my dad's birthday, so this last part, this will be the outro. I'm going to read what I've written. I've never been good with cards, so I'm trying to say a lot of the unsaid truths that I feel I should have said before. If I haven't, should be said more often. This is, if anybody's been asking and pushing me, motivating me to do something with this and to get this up and going somehow, and who's been my biggest supporter in all my hobby. I've had other supporters in here, but the one that I know really deep down is rooting for me all the time and is always. I don't want to get into it because a lot of it's in here. So this will be the outro. After this, we'll sign off and we'll call it a 2025 and move into our January 2nd episode. And yeah, this is the biggest part of this. It's part of the reason, Eric, Dad, you are the two that are the biggest inspiration for doing this in the first place. Big time. So, first off, happy birthday. I know it's a big one. I know you don't like celebrating your birthday. And if you ask for socks one more year, I swear, ask for something new. But anyway, I've contemplated what I would say for this episode for weeks. I honestly don't know how to best put in words how I'd want to express my appreciation. Simply, you've always been there for me, no matter if you are sick, exhausted, in pain and grief, or simply beaten by life. It doesn't matter what condition you're in, you are always there. I don't think that gets acknowledged as much as it should, and how much strength is required to do that. You are the strongest person I know, and I know you would move mountains for me if need be. I can't thank you enough for everything you have done for me and our family. Um, you are the person who I idolize most, my idol, my best friend, other than Eric. It's a toss up between you two. You're both big pieces of my life, probably the two biggest. Um, and not only the best, but the only dad I could ask for, always. Um, and I love you. I know that doesn't get said enough. Again, another unsaid truth. Um, I yeah, I feel it's just an unsaid truth. Um, Lastly, uh, this podcast owes you partial thanks, probably a large thanks, and as well. You have always supported my extensive hobbies and have helped me really. If I was interested in something, you helped me really pursue it and see if it was something that either it was a skill I obtained or knowledge I learned, or maybe it would turn somehow into a career at some point. Career, or it would help me at some point in my life. It's been a lot. Karate would have been a big one. And it was, hey, you're interested? No, you shouldn't do it. It was never that. It was, oh, you are interested? Then we'll do it. Try it, see if you like it. If you don't, there'll be something else. But you won't know until you try. And we kind of always have followed that idea. And I couldn't have done it without you and without your support through all of it. And for the most part, for most of my life, it's what I've needed. There are some that I hope to rediscover. Karate would be a big one. It's a huge piece of my life, and yeah, I'm so happy we got to do it together too. Those are memories I do cherish. I hope to make make more memories associated with. But I'm not young anymore, and then I was sad that I'm not young, and I'm old. I'm not. Um, yeah, okay, I'm getting off track. I owe much of my skills and knowledge to you for that reason. Do I have more? Oh, yes. Um, I hope you have the best birthday, and I hope you don't snuff at it being a birthday. It is your day. You deserve to celebrate it. We'll find something to do, I'm sure. And uh, all I want you to know is, you have a very proud and grateful son, and just that I'm also proud to be your son. Always. I think there's a picture of me young, and dad was coming home, so I was looking out the window, and that's probably all I did. Mom probably thought she was chopped liver in comparison to dad. I gave mom a real hard time when I was young. Then all dad shows up, like very different behavior, and he probably got the good side of me, and mom got all the bad, and that's just how that played out. But yeah, I hope that did it justice. I got through it. I'm fine. I'm surprised. I think I got upset a bit while I was writing that, and yeah, that's it. We got through it. We're all alive, and that's our 2025. Uh, the the first Aimless 5 episodes. Um, it's been fun. It's taken a while, but it was fun, and I'm excited for what we can do moving forward. And I think we got a good foundation. We're good. So I'll leave it at that. Happy New Year's for when this is coming out. I hope everyone, I don't know, make your New Year's resolution, even though no one follows them. Just learn to love growing and learn to love learning. And then you don't need a New Year's resolution. Every day is a New Year's resolution. I don't know. Happy New Year's, regardless. We can put 2025 and 2024 and 2023 all behind us, and we'll see what the future has to bring. So, with that, aim, dream, have hope, and drive to justify love and passion always. Aimless out for now.